Almost every nurse will work the night shift at some point in time. So on today's Clinical Corner, we're going to chat about ways to stay healthy while working the night shift. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So most nurses will either have already worked a night shift or working a night shift now. So what's some advice you have for those working the night shift to stay healthy?
Yeah, it's really important. I think one of the main things they can do is leading up to their shift, try to modify their body clock. So that would mean the days up to your shift, you might want to go to bed at midnight, go to bed later, maybe sleep in a little bit later so it's not a complete shock to your system. Also, sleeping during the day, it's still really important that you get 8 hours of sleep. Even if that's broken up, still getting a total of 8 hours of sleep is really important.
Right. And I know your schedule is a bit flipped, but what kind of food should you be eating throughout the day or your shift?
So you want to try to still eat healthy. And unfortunately, a lot of people, as a means to stay awake, might go for the junk food. They might have the chocolate or bags of chips just to try to keep themselves awake, and obviously that's not good for you. So it's good to try to pack food ahead so you have healthy food options available. Also, the timing of when you eat is important. So you want to eat your bigger meal before midnight, maybe around 9 o'clock or so, and then have a lighter meal between midnight and 6, because that more closely matches your normal schedule.
Right. And a lot of people, it's really easy to just go for the coffee or those sugary energy drinks. So what advice do you have for the caffeine?
Yes, so if you're working nights, it doesn't mean you have a license to double up on the caffeine. You should still be consuming the same amount of caffeine as if you were working days. It's also important to think about when you're drinking the caffeine, so you might want to stop the caffeine intake at least like midway through your shift, and then that'll make it easier for you to sleep the following day.
So after working your shift, what are some optimal conditions that you can help set up to sleep after your shift?
Yeah, so a lot of people like to use blackout curtains. Those are really popular. Having a fan to kind of drown out noise or a white sound machine is really helpful so you're not being distracted by the normal daytime sounds. A lot of people put do not disturb signs on their doors so the doorbell isn't ringing while they're trying to sleep. So it's important to just try to control your environment so you can get that sleep.
And what do you recommend about exercise? Is that something you should still continue to do?
Yes, exercise is still important. It kind of depends on what works for you. Some people like to do it before their shift. Some people like to do it after their shift, but you should still be doing it even if you're working nights.
Awesome point. And do you have any additional tips for staying healthy working the night shift?
Yeah, I think it's also important to think about your mental health. One of the hardest things about working nights is that you're on a completely different schedule than the rest of the world, and so you might feel isolated. So it's really important that you still make time to meet up with friends and family, because still having those social connections is really important for your mental health.
Right, exactly. So those were some really great tips. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any additional tips or any comments or questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching.